Driving a German whip, driving a German whip. Yo! If you see man driving a German whip, blacked out window leaning back, see man driving a German whip, look like a ball of peas and that.
Here we have it. You should receive a package in a box like this. Inside should be your steel gear plate, which is made from 3mm brushed solid steel. I've heard other companies who've made this previously have made them in 6mm aluminium, but the problem is people have been complaining about these little prongs eventually breaking off and the edges being chipped, which isn't any good. So I've made sure we've made these in premium brushed stainless steel. So yeah, so you should have that in your package, and the LED spacer, which same again, another company makes a similar product and has done for a while, but the issue is with them, they use only I think 6 LEDs in their one, which creates hot spots around the edges. On these ones we've got up to 20 LEDs, which gives it more of a consistent light and a glow, and also it makes it a lot brighter, which some people didn't like the old style one. So, but the thing is with this kit, in order for the gear plate to work, it has to have a spacer. So, and I thought what better than to just throw in a standard spacer, but to create and redesign the LED illuminated ring, which is a nice feature. These will come in any range of colours that you want. This one that I've got here is a red one, which matches the dash and all the other lights in the car. So right, and also in the package you should get 8 nice stainless steel bolts, which are extra long to compensate for the spacer. Right, so first thing to do is tackle getting this gear stick and the surrounds and all that off. Best thing to do is take your knob off first, which on some models, this gear knob is actually really tough, or it's really stiff, so it might not seem like it actually comes off, but it does. So if you need a hand, it's best to ask someone who's got a bit of power in their hand to actually untwist it, but you might be lucky and it might come off quite easy. So take this knob off first. And on the bottom of the knob you'll get like a little plastic thing. You can just take that plastic thing off, you're not going to need that. So set aside your knob. Next thing to do is get these screws out, which isn't too hard to do. Right, so this bezel bit should come off if I've undone the screws properly. We just put that aside, and this is your rubber gaiter thingy-bobby. If you're watching this video because you want to fit the whole plate and the spacer, you're not going to require this anymore. But for those who've just purchased the illuminated ring, just set this aside because this will go back on afterwards. So let's set that aside. Right, what you'll see now is this, if I just move this camera slightly to show you, so you've got like gear mechanism in there, this knuckle, which I call it, if you can see, sorry my camera work isn't very good, so that knuckle there. And what you'll find is this actual stick, it might be a bit dirty, so what I done was I just used a bit of wet and dry, like a fine sandpaper, and I just sanded it all the way around, which sort of brushed it up quite well to match the the brushed aluminium plate that's going to go in there. But for all you others, you could sand it down and use a Dremel to actually polish that up. It would polish up quite well because this is steel as well. So right, next thing to do is show you a neat little trick which I found. Some people requested that they don't want to see this gear mechanism inside, which is fair enough. I don't provide a gator as such in with the kit, but a neat little trick is to use a bit of lycra. So you could, if you've got an old pair of I don't know, lycra shorts or whatever, or you can nick your missus leggings or some hot pants or whatever it is, but just get hold of some black lycra. And what I've done was I used the actual plate to work out my size. I drew around it and cut it out, so I cut it into as good of a circle as I could, and then I basically I folded it in half and I put an actual hole in the center, which you can see there. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double-sided tape and put them on the edges here, because this material is quite floppy. When you slot it down the gear stick, all of this bit wants to just fall inside. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put double-sided tape in between all of the screw holes, and then as my lycra gator slots over the top like so, I can actually just use the double-sided tape to temporarily hold it in position while I do all my other stuff. So I thought I'd just show you that bit now. Right, next thing to do is, because you're going to be wiring up the LED ring, in order to get access to the power supply where you're going to wire it up to, you have to first take your ashtray out. Basically when you open up your ashtray, because I did open this up earlier on just to make sure I knew what I was doing before I'd done the video, inside here, up inside here is a screw. You take that screw out, and then basically if you get a screwdriver, if I've got one to hand here, if you get a screwdriver up underneath, there's like a little catch, which if you push down, this whole ashtray section should come out. I'll show you that now. Without breaking anything, obviously. Can't see where it goes now. There you go. So it just pops out like this, and basically what you do is, as you slide it out, you've got two connector blocks at the back. One connects up to this component here, which is your light, and the other connection is this one, which is for your lighter. So unplug them both before you can pull this whole component out. But once that's done, you can set that aside. Then you've got this center console, which if you basically slide it back and you'll basically have these three buttons in here, which is your petrol cap, your alarm sensor, and your boot open buttons. Basically they'll be connected to three 3 connectors on the back, which you have to unclip them in order to get this thing out. So you want to get this thing out first. So I've already previously done this, but it's not rocket science to unclip those back bits. It just makes the video a bit easier and quicker to do. Right, so once that bit's out, basically you want to, on this front edge here, same again, there's basically like a little catch, like a clip that holds it in place. Basically you want to just get this behind there, and basically this whole thing should pop up like so, as you can see it there. And then basically what you want to do is pull your catch, I mean like your lid or hood, whatever you want to call it, back forward, and then this thing should just shuffle out of place. The only issue is on my model, I've already had a wire fitted which runs through this this container, where I've got an MP3 connector, so I can connect iPhone and MP3 player. Don't know if you can see it there in the shot down here. So I don't really want to be taking that thing out because it took quite a while to fit, but I can still do what I need to do with this thing just hanging, so it's no biggie. Right, so the next step is to basically this ring. Right, this ring, as you can see on it, you've got your 8 holes for the screws, and then you've got this hole here, which I don't know if you can pick up on the camera. Yeah, there's a hole in between 2 hole screws. That thing will go over like there's like a little nubbin, like a little support, I don't know what it is, but it's there. Just make sure when you fit this ring that you put that hole I was just explaining over that one, like so, and it should fit in position. But what I'm going to do first is I need to run my cable underneath inside. So this cable is going to go inside there and then into your console compartment area. So if I show you, if I move the camera and show you what I've done. So as you can see, I've put this wire on the right hand side, and as you can see at the back there, if you can see it, see my wire popping up the other side, so there's a big enough gap behind there, and basically you're going to feed that all the way through. But if you want to put this this black gator on there, you're going to have to just put your gator on first and feed the wire through the gator first before this LED ring goes on. Right, so as you can see, I've put double-sided tape in between the screw areas, which I'm gonna double-side my black gator to. So give me a moment. Right, so as you can see, I've double-sided my pre-cut lycra material onto the gear surround. Doesn't matter if you're covering the screw holes, because the material is so thin that basically the screw would just work its way through the material and bolt down your bezel as you need it. So right, so just remember about that extra hole I was telling you about, which is here, this one. Make sure that that goes over your nubbin, let's call it a nubbin. Right, just keep your wire up through the hole to begin with, and then we'll locate it on there like so. And any extra sort of lycra that's poking out, you can just push it back so you don't see it on your overall finish, like so. But you can trim it off with a knife if need be. Once your LED ring is sitting in its position, before you bolt anything down to it, it's best to cut a little hole up close to here so your wire can go through and then feed out of that area that I showed you earlier before anything gets bolted on, because otherwise you're not going to have access to it later on. So I'll just cut a hole there now. Right, so as you can see, I've put a little hole in the top of the gaiter there and fed the wire through and up in the area which I showed you earlier, should I say. So it comes up through there. Once you've done that, then we can proceed with putting the actual H gate on and finishing that bit off. So let's get to that now. Right, so as your LED ring is in position, then get our H gate, and obviously you want to be putting it in the correct position. You don't want to put it in upside down. This section here indicates that that's your reverse side, so the largest gap is your reverse side, so that's obviously going to go up and over. So once you're lined up your holes, as you can see there, you then get your original bezel, which is here, and line up your holes with that as well. Then get your screws that are included in the kit, get them in position, ready to bolt down. Cool. Then just carefully hold it in position while you get your first couple of screws in. Sorry, I keep blocking the your view. Like I said, the screws will just penetrate through your black gaiter. So that bit's all done, which I'll show you a bit closer shot. So that's all screwed in. You've got your spacer in position, and as you can see, the lycra that I've used inside prevents anyone from I don't know, dropping anything down there, or if your kids want to put a bit of Lego or some raisins down there, it'll prevent it from doing that. And as you can see, the brushed stainless steel goes quite well with your original bezel and the other aluminium parts that are in the car, so it does look quite neat. So all you got to do next is screw your gear knob back on, which it takes quite a few twists to do, and just make sure you line up your letters. As you're probably aware of, I'm doing this on a 6-speed 225 TT, but there is obviously available for the 5-speed as well, which nothing's going to change of what I've shown you. Only difference is you won't have this 6-gear gate here. So right, as you can see, if we go through, we can go into reverse, which that's a reverse gear. Bring it back out. First gear, second, third, fourth, fifth, and finally sixth gear. And as you can see, the black gator, lycra gator, works quite well in being soft enough and flexible enough to move into any gear and still look alright when you're not in any gear. So yeah, it's quite a good, nice, cheap, easy way of covering the gear mechanism for those that don't want to see it, or for those who have kids who constantly try to put peanuts and raisins down in your gate, your H gate. So cool. So now I'll show you the wiring up of the LED ring. Right, so as you can see, I've put my wire in, fed it right through the back, up and around. As you can see it poking out there, I've poked it through the hole there where other wires for when you connect back up your lighter and your ashtray container thing. I'll show you a picture because it's a lot easier to show you where I run the wire, and it's a lot easier for me to show you in a picture rather than me trying to hold the video camera and trying to feed this thing through, because it can get quite fiddly. But I've basically, once that wire's up through there, you can put your sliding console cover container back in, and I've connected back up my buttons, put the connectors back on, click that back in, and yeah, we can move on to the next stage, which is wiring it up, putting the ashtray back in, and then we should be good to go. Right, once you've wired up your LED ring, as shown in the picture that I just put up, I've used a connector block to connect them, but you can wire this up any which way you see fit. It's not there's no specific protocol on what you're wiring. So yeah, I've wired it up to the light for the ashtray, but yeah, if you find some other easier way, or there's something else you want to wire up, then but yeah. So before you put the ashtray back in, just make sure it's wired up correctly by turning on your lights. So if I just put on my ignition without turning it on, and as you can tell, I've literally got 0 petrol left in this, but yeah, so let's turn the lights on, and bam, there you have it. And the light in real life looks a whole lot redder, a whole lot more consistent. So I don't know, me seeing it on the screen, it doesn't look as it looks like in real life, but hey ho, you'll see your one anyway, you'll know what I mean. And as you can see as well, you get a nice little glow in the night time, because I've put the gator below the spacer. You get a nice little glow. If you can get a hint of it inside there, you get a nice little glow inside from the ring. But yeah, that's it. So all you got to do now is reconnect up the connector blocks to your ashtray, click your ashtray back in, and then Robert's your dad's brother. Right, so there we have it, ashtray back in, center console put back together, LED ring in position. Yeah, and you'd have to be Incredible Hulk to snap these prongs on this solid 3mm stainless steel brushed gate. These are very, very durable, so these should last a very long time. I'd be very, very surprised if somebody managed to actually break that, but hey ho, that's I think that's it. Please find time to like this video, and use the comments below to discuss anything or any issues that others might have, or any questions. But other than that, that's it, I believe. If you can, please find Audi, the Mk1 TT forum and community on Facebook, and yeah, join that group for discussions, for tips, hints, and even discounts and bulk buys and stuff like that. It's a really good forum, so so yeah, get on there, and yeah, and good luck. I hope you enjoy your product, your H-Gate, and I look forward to seeing any videos or pictures of your own online soon. Okay, cheers, thank you very much.